The English language has a certain form, and the way sentences are typically constructed, they have a subject, it might be a proper noun. They have a verb, and they have an object. The subject, through the verb, acts upon the object. Tom threw ball. So we understand that the ball is acted upon by the subject. We read English left to right. It's the only way we can do it. You start reading it from right to left and people will say you have some kind of learning disability. We're forced by our technology to think in this linear cause and effect way. So we've accepted that language is a technology for both expressing and perceiving, for improving our thought, and that it changes the way we think. And now we're looking at the English language and we're saying the way our technology is designed, it has a certain architecture, and that forms our thoughts. And the architecture of the English language is subject, action upon an object. There are really important implications for this. Because you're so immersed in the English language, because it is your technology for thinking, it constrains you in ways that I'm going to try to deconstrain. I'm going to try and give you different ways of using the language. Here's the thing about subject, verb, object. It only goes in one direction. There's no feedback loop in English. There's no object that acts back on the subject. We're accustomed to this linear left to right way of thinking about cause and effect relationships because that's the way our language has structured our thoughts. But in complex systems, we must be always looking for the feedback loops. You remember in the last diagram that I drew, we express words, but then the words change our thoughts. That's the feedback loop. In our ordinary sentence structure, we only have this one-way linear organization of cause and effect relationships. And it isn't true. It's a limitation. In fact, the objects work back on the subject. When Tom throws the ball, he exerts the force on the ball, but the ball is also exerting a force back on Tom. There is a physics of the real world that isn't represented in this ordinary way of thinking about our language. So what are the implications for that? We use this type of structure to try and describe complex systems despite the fact that this type of sentence structure doesn't have the feedback loop that we're trying to describe. And if you're struggling with the language, it's because the technology that we have, the language that we have, isn't designed to make it easy for you to talk about and think about these feedback loops.